Hello, my bookish darlings. It is time to look at the Goodreads Choice Awards opening rounds. Now, I know a lot of booktubers are doing this, so I thought I'd go ahead and jump into the fray. Who am I? I am the booktube goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. So apparently the cutoff for this award is November 15. So I guess it's from November 15 last year to November 15 this year. And I read a lot of new releases through Shelve It or Shove It. So we'll see how many ended up making it that I picked. And we're just going to do the categories that I look at in Shelve It or Shove It: young adult, science fiction, and fantasy. Maybe I'll do middle grade just to see what it's like. But the first category I see is fantasy, so that's what we're going to do first. Okay, so here are the best fantasy opening round nominees. And we start with The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I haven't read that one. And we go on to When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. Another one I haven't read, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. Then we have Kai by Vaishnavi Patel. Apologies for the pronunciation, haven't read that one. The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. I almost picked this for Shelve It or Shove It. Love that cover. Love that cover. And I hear a lot of good things about this book. Haven't read it yet. And then we have Thistlefoot. This is another book I picked in Shelve It or Shove It, but it wasn't my final pick of the shelved books. And I always have trouble reading this name because the font is crazy. But the author is Jenna Rose Nethercott. And I believe we know this as some riff on the Baba Yaga myth. And then R.F. Kuang's Babel. You know what I think about Babel. I think it is a masterpiece. It's going to be hard to beat that one for me. Then we have Brandon Sanderson's The Lost Metal. This is a Mistborn book, but it looks like in the futuristic cyberpunk era of Mistborn, which wasn't my favorite. We have Stephen King's Fairy Tale, another one that I've read. For me, it read more like a horror than a traditional fantasy. I did like it. Doesn't beat Babel. Then we have The War of Two Queens by Jennifer Armentrout, well-known author. Haven't read that one. Legends and Latte. Someone was just talking about this in my live streams. This is a book that got them out of a reading slump by Travis Baldree. Love that cover. Then we have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Adore the title, by Sangu Mandana. Oh, this is interesting. By hovering over it, we can see how many people have rated it. So obviously, if more people have rated a book, probably they're going to get more votes simply because more people have read the book. But we'll see how it goes. Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. I have read that one too. It's another Shelve It or Shove It pick. I did enjoy that one. I wasn't crazy about the romance subplot, but it was a decent read. Not as good as Babel. Then we have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. Haven't read that one either. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I've heard of that one. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Sarah J. Maas, House of Sky and Breast, a Crescent City novel. I know that's a huge fan favorite. I'm not a big Sarah J. Maas fan, but we know it's probably going to get a lot of votes. We have Electra by Jennifer Saint. Heard of that one, haven't read it. Author of Ariadne. The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik. I have read this one. I've read the other two books in this series. It's okay. The third book actually was my least favorite of the three books, my favorite being the first one. I'd be surprised if The Golden Enclaves wins. And The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. I haven't read this one yet. I am going to read it, obviously, because I've read the first one, The City We Became. Loved it. Sort of a Lovecraftian spin on a contemporary fantasy. But does not beat Babel. So guess what? I am going to cast my vote right here, right now for Babel. Okay. And I'm just going to see... I wanted to see, oh, there we go. I want to see the number of ratings. Okay, Ordinary Monsters only got 5,700. That's not going to cut it. 10K, 21 is pretty good for Legends and Lattes. 87,000 for the Atlas 6. Why haven't I heard of that? Have you read it? Let me know down in the comments. RF Kuang's Babel is, let me just look it up. Has 23K. Okay. If there's any justice. Oh, and they mix up the novels. Okay, we have 12K. Almost 80K for the Jennifer Armentrout. 21. Okay, this isn't making me feel good about Babel, because if we're in the 80K ratings, those are probably going to be the ones that are going to win. 9,700 for Book Eaters. 16K, 30K for Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Atlas 6 is just blowing everyone away in the ratings. World We Make, only 1K. Enclaves 20, 5,700. Thistlefoot 3,000. Okay, guys, I am not feeling so great about Babel. Well, this is the preliminary round, so I'm almost confident that we'll make it to the final. And if there's any justice, like I said, Babel will win. Stardust Thief, under 10K. 50K for Fairy Tale. 20K for Society for Irregular Witches. Okay, well, let me know down in the comments which one you're going for fantasy, and how many of them have you read? I've only read, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these fantasies. I'm probably going to read a couple more before the year end, like The World We Make. Okay, moving on. We're going to go to science fiction. Okay, first up it's Nona the Ninth. You know I am a huge fan of Nona the Ninth. I think Tamsin Muir is a remarkable writer because every book in that series is different or has this uniquely different voice. Even though I wasn't crazy about the second book because I wanted the voice from Gideon the Ninth. But anyway, Nona the Ninth was very impressive to me. Very interesting writer. Ocean's Echo, also seen that in Shelve It or Shove It. Dead Silence, also saw that in Shelve It or Shove It. I haven't read these except for Nona. Atomic Anna by Rachel Barenbaum. By the way, Dead Silence was S.A. Barnes and Ocean's Echo was Everina Maxwell. Hunt the Stars by Jesse Mihalik. Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. I did read that one. I'm surprised it's here. I thought it was an okay book. I thought the humor was a little too over the top when the characters are so sarcastic or don't appear to take themselves or their situation seriously. Doesn't make me take the situation seriously, which I got in Kaiju Preservation Society. Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. Haven't read it. A.G. Riddle's Lost in Time. That's a cool cover. Neon Yang's The Genesis of Misery. Again, remember that for Shelve It or Shove It. Primitives by Eric Krauss. Upgrade by Blake Crouch. Haven't read either of those. I have read Muir Lafferty Station Eternity. I did quite enjoy that. It wasn't what I expected, but I still thought it was a very decent read, and I'll continue reading this series because it's the first book in some sort of duology or trilogy or something. Then there's Leech by Huron Ends. Remember that from Shelve It or Shove It, didn't choose it. Self-Portrait with Nothing by Amy Pock-Watka. I remember seeing that one, did not pick it. Leviathan Falls by James A. Corey. I did read that one. I love The Expanse. Love, love, love it. How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. Didn't read that one. I do remember this one in Shove It or Shove It. I did like this cover. Don Kaon's Sleepwalk. Haven't read it, recognize the cover. Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John. I thought that was a terrible cover, but this is a well-known author. The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. Do not recognize that one at all. The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, I did read by Sylvia Morena Garcia, which is sort of a retelling of H.G. Wells's Dr. Moreau, Island of Dr. Moreau. Was a good, decent read. And is that it? That is it. Okay. Well, of all these, I'm going to have to pick Nona just because I am just so impressed by the writing. But let's look at the ratings. Let's see how many people have read these. Nona, 12K. Surprised. I thought there'd be more than that. Under 1,000 for Ocean's Echo. Dead Silence, 10K. Okay, I'm just remembering this is science fiction. Science fiction isn't as popular as fantasy, so we're going to get lower numbers than we saw in fantasy. But still, Atomic Anna only a little over 1K. 5K, Kaiju, 23K. There we go. Mickey 7 is 4K. 5K for Lost in Time. Oh, wow. Only 300 ratings for Genesis of Misery. How did they pick this for this opening round? Does anyone know? I don't know. Only 500 for Primitives. 42K for Upgrade. Wow, that's a lot. Station Eternity, 833. Oh, and I like that book. Leech, a little over 1K. Self-Portrait, 296. Yeah, these low numbers just aren't going to get the vote. 36K for Leviathan. I wouldn't be mad if Leviathan Falls it makes it to the next round. 20K for Sequoia Nagamatsu. Sleepwalk, 2K. Sea of Tranquility, yeah, 86K. Wow. I wouldn't be surprised if this one takes it all. That's a huge rating for science fiction. Well, for any category. The Measure, 28. Daughter is, I'm surprised. Thought it'd be higher, but under 10K. But like I said, just for the writing, just because I think the author is very experimental, takes a lot of risks, I think that Tamsin Muir deserves it. And she has 12K, which isn't terrible for science fiction. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for Nona. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is young adult, but I'm going to do young adult, of course, fantasy and science fiction. I didn't read that much young adult this year, so I'd be surprised if I read any of these. Okay, first off is Ta Era Mafi, The Woven Kingdom, This Woven Kingdom. Do I recognize it? All That's Left in the World by Eric Brown. Chloe Gong's Foul Lady Fortune. I did like this cover. I wasn't crazy the font was covering so much of that gorgeous artwork. But I recognize that cover. Bloodmarked. Oh, that is the sequel to Legendborn. I wouldn't be surprised if that one wins because I did like Legendborn. I don't recommend the audio version, but I like the story. Aidan Thomas's Sunbearer Trials. Now, I did not like this cover, but I have just read Cemetery Boys, which I surprisingly liked a lot because I'm not a huge fan of young adult romance, and there was YA romance between a trans boy and a gay boy, but it didn't detract from the story to me. So, highly recommend Cemetery Boys. Haven't read Sunbearer Trials. Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. I think I recognize that cover, as I also recognize Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. Not crazy about that cover. Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. I like that cover. God, I haven't read any of these. The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. I did like that cover, but it's a sequel, so I didn't pick it for Shove It or Shove It. Aha, I have read Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. Was this a debut? I don't know, but it was about this hotel that transports itself from city to city. I did enjoy that book. Recommend that book. If You Could See the Sun by Anne Lang. I do recognize that book from Shove It or Shove It. I didn't pick it. Like the cover. Brandon Sanderson's Cytonic, which is part of his Skyward series. I haven't read that one. I bet there's a lot of votes for that though. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Okay, I have read Adeline Grace's, I think it was the debut about the Stars and the Teeth, which was decent, but I haven't read Belladonna. Violet of Thorns by Gina Chen. Don't know that one. A Magic Steeped in Poison. Love the title. I actually like this cover, but I did not read this book by Judy Lin. These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. Don't recognize this one at all. Ever After by, who's this author? F.T. Lukens. I remember liking this cover. It scared me that it seemed a bit too romance-centric, so I didn't pick it, but I like the cover. Cursed by Marissa Meyer. I love Marissa Meyer. I wouldn't be sad to see her pick this award up, but I haven't read this. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. Love, love, love this cover. Haven't read the book though. But I have read Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Now I'm so curious why this is considered young adult, because it read to me as middle grade, and it's a horror fantasy, and I enjoyed it. Again, the two books I have read, Gallant and Hotel Magnifique, as much as I liked them and I'll recommend them to anyone that asks me, they're not super strong books that I would pick them as award winners. So golly. Of these authors that I wouldn't mind seeing win, it's probably Tracy Dion's Bloodmarked. Simply based on the first novel, Legendborn. And by the way, this is sort of a retelling of the Arthurian legend through a lens of a young Black woman that gets caught up in this really interesting world building. It does lean on some romance tropes that I'm not crazy about, especially in YA, which is hate to love and love triangles, but I know a lot of people love it. Our Aidan Thomas, since I just read Cemetery Boys, I would love to see this person win an award. Is that a terrible reason to pick? I'm going to pick Aidan Thomas. I would love Aidan Thomas to win the award. But let's look at some of the ratings. Let's see how popular some of these actually are. Now, young adult, science fiction, fantasy, it's going to be much higher numbers than science fiction, I would assume. Here we go. Okay, had to refresh it. Okay, Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, 24K. Dragon's Promise, ooh, low, 40, around 4K. 72, Kingdom of the Fear, 25, decent. Ever After, 80 favorite. Only 8,000 for Ever After. Gallant, 57K, wow. Well, V.E. Schwab. Yeah, sometimes it's the name that's going to win the award. 9,000 for Steeped in Magic, Only a Monster at 14K, Marissa Meyer, expecting a big number. Oh, only 1,000. Oh, I think it just came out. That's why. Okay. Foul Lady Fortune, 4K, Sunbear Trial. Ooh, only 3K. Ballad of Never After, 22K. Wow. 17K for Woven Kingdom. This is 9K, 3K, Hotel Magnifique, 9K. I mean, that's not bad for a debut, it really isn't. Brandon Sanderson, of course, 29K. 19K for These Twisted Bonds. Oh, only 3,000 for Bloodmarked. But again, I think that just came out, so give it a month or two. 9K for Belladonna. Okay, well, let me know what you would pick for young adult science fiction and fantasy. For me, I picked The Sunbearer Trials mostly just because of the author, and I don't like that cover, so that I didn't pick it up, but I may go ahead and read it because I did read Cemetery Boys. Okay, just for shits and giggles, let's look at middle grade and children, because you know I write middle grade and I love middle grade, but I didn't really read that many new releases this year, so I'm just going to, let's just look at them. Yeah, okay. We have Keeper of the Lost Cities by Stella Loon. Love that cover. Oh, wait a sec. Stellar Loon is not the name of the author. The author is Shannon Messenger. Okay, that's familiar. I'm going to skip these picture books. The Marvelers by Donnell Clayton. I almost picked that one up, but I'm just tired of magic academies. I'm just tired of magic schools. So I didn't pick it up. The Witchlings, I've heard a lot of good things about this by Clarabelle Ortega. Another picture book, Zachary Yang. Okay, this is Zirin J. Zhao, who wrote The Iron Widow, which I did like and I reviewed it. Haven't picked up their middle grade. Another School of Good and Evil by Somen Chudinchani. I read the first one, really liked it. Netflix did an adaptation that it's okay. Ravenfall by Kaylin Josephson. The Elephant Girl by James Patterson, really, and Ellen Banda Aku. I like that cover a lot. The Girl in White by Lindsay Curry. The Pennymoors by, who is that? Eric Koester. I like the cover. Small Town Pride, sort of gay middle grade. Love that. How to Heal a Dragon by Meg Canistra. Mari and the Great Game. I really want to read an Mari book. I haven't read one yet by E.B. Alston. I heard so much about them. I will be reading one soon. I don't know if I'll pick up the sequel, but one to watch out for. Eru Shah and the Nectar of Immortality by Roshani Chokshi. And it's a Rick Riordan Presents book, and I believe I read the first one and I enjoyed it. I enjoy all the Rick Riordan Presents books. The next one is Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. And I think I read an excerpt of the first Evil Librarians book. Seemed a lot of fun, a little snarky for me, but it's Brandon Sanderson, so he's going to do well. The Ogress and the Orphans. Oh, I love this cover by Kelly Barnhill. Okay, I don't have strong opinions, so I don't think I'm going to vote for this one. But let's look at the ratings. Okay. Keeper of Lost Cities, 2K, The Marvelers. Ooh, only 1K, really? I thought this was a much more popular book. Witchlings, 18K. Okay, I think that's a picture book. Zachary Yang, almost 2K. School for Good and Evil, 17K. Why are these numbers so low? Well, you know what one of the reasons is? The target audience for this, middle grade readers, which are from the age 8 to 12, probably aren't joining Goodreads. So these ratings are probably from parents. So that's going to skew the numbers quite a lot. Okay. Elephant Girl, James Patterson, only 300 ratings. Wow, with the name James Patterson associated with it. I'm shocked. 400. 100. Amari. 2.5. Boy, these are low. Eru Shaw, 2K. Evil Librarians, 1K. Wow. The Ogress, 2K. Okay. So again, I am speculating that the actual readers of these books aren't Goodreads members or aren't voting in this. The ones who do vote are probably the parents and teachers, the good old gatekeepers. And I don't think I'm going to vote in this. I will be keeping an eye on the finals because I am curious who's going to win. Or should I just pick an author I like? I mean, I like Ziran J. Zhao, Soman Chonchani, The School of Good and Evil, Eru Shaw. No, I'm not going to vote on this. I don't know enough of these new releases or even these authors to really form a strong enough opinion to vote. But good luck to all of them. Okay, so those are my choices for the Goodreads Choice Awards opening round. What did you think? Let me know down in the comments. While you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.